more thing. For the person who wins the game, they get a image, like a PNG or whatever, like an image format for their pose. So it's not an actual 3D model that's stored for person who's in first place. For whatever reason, also for the losing character, they take a picture of them as well. So Luigi's loss is also immortalized. $14.99 poster on Etsy. There you go. So, all right, let's move on. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We can even break the boundaries of that. That's great.
Smashing sound.
Didn't we have this there? All right. Who do we want to pick now?
Captain Falcon.
Gannon.
Captain
All right.
Falcon.
We're gonna do Kirby, and we're gonna do Ness. Now look at
Podium?
Alright.
Here?
No, not. Alright, perfect. One other thing I want to show you guys. This was actually, I think we found this at Too Many Games. I might be mistaken about that, but this was really cool. This was a discovery that I believe was made at the last TMG in 2019. We found this down here. We found some yellow lines. Now, does anybody remember this from the last time they were here? Was it PAX? Thank you. Thank you for showing up to all of these. You're amazing. Thanks. Appreciate that. Well, I guess it was at PAX. We have a testimony on that. So anyways, maybe this is new to you. We got lines here. We got 4 lines, and we were kind of discovering this as we go. Actually, I think this was Richard Blues, now that I think about it. Were you there too? Oh, okay. Okay. It's okay. I appreciate it all the same. So anyways, we have these 4 yellow lines here. I hope you can see it okay. And we were figuring it out as we went along. So we saw 4 yellow lines and we were like, what is that? And we figured out what that is. And then I did one of these. I clicked on Kirby and this name came up. Oh. And then we looked back down and suddenly there were 3 lines. So what it is it's actually this window here, stored out of bounds and squished. And then it's called in for whenever a player needs to actually use it for the game. It's pretty cool. Alright. Any Rain Star Depths. Okay, I didn't get that last time, I think we're gonna do it this time now. That's Rain Star Depths. Backpack? Oh, perfect. That backpack's really cool too. It's just great. Alright. No, Kirby. You. Alright. Let's get Ness. Well, I just barely did that. Alright, so. What was that? Oh, the Porygon? He just disappeared, sorry. That's what's left of Porygon. No, I don't think... Wonderful. Alright, well, we'll take... So here's the thing, okay? With Kirby, you think he'd be more interesting than he actually is. If you take the camera inside of him, you'll find there's nothing. They take the time to make the characters invisible when Kirby sucks them up, because it would just be too much of a hassle to shrink them down. I think they do shrink them down, but also to just like flip or cull out the model. So characters like Wario and Brawl are way more interesting because you have to see half the model, but they still have to fit it inside of Wario. So what ends up happening there is they just shrink down half the body. But with Kirby, they don't have to do that. Instead, we're just left with this. He's like on his side too, I just noticed that. Alright.
Can you see anything when you shoot out the star?
Can you shoot out the star? Sure. I don't usually use her, so okay. I'm more of a Falco man, but alright, so reason why we wanted to see Prince Star Depths is because we're very interested about Kratos, right?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite Metroid characters, so. What? Yeah, no spoilers, please. Should have put that on the front door. No Metroid Dread spoilers. So, let me see. Yeah, again, nothing too much to see with Kratos either. And you're going to see that when he goes off camera, he also just kind of, oh, he's already going under.
Does he have feet?
He does.
Oh! You can't just show his feet like that. No.
Settle down. He's even got talons on the back of his feet, so it's fully modeled feet.
You can never see them.
I think it's because you get to get a parade trophy, and I think that they show the feet there. So yeah. Alright. Watch him disappear. There you go. John Cena. Okay, there we go. He's back. And there you go. There's the full animation of in and out with parade. Did I accidentally fall really earlier? Is that just my imagination? Okay, good. Alright. So, there's another one. Oh, we didn't look inside his nest yet. Let's make sure. Because, again, I was really surprised by both Samus and Luigi. Congrats, guys. The second arm cannon, that's nuts. I didn't think about that at all. I'm gonna have to look into that further.
Look at the back. I think her cannon might open when she's shooting like a power blast.
You might be right. So, I guess it's stored?
I mean, that's
Oh, look, his back.
Look, it's
His
nothing.
back's fully modeled, but outside of that,
I feel like something has to happen.
how much I can actually increase the back for you.
No, that's his.
Not too much. Let's take a look.
Ears.
Oh.
Yo, POV in this.
Man.
That's his mouth.
That's his mouth.
His
yeah.
mouth is modeled.
That's his 5 o'clock shot. Honestly, this is the best part of the show. Just getting these weird close-ups of there. Yeah, so nothing much to his mouth. What's I say? Okay, so his hat is fully modeled. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's neat. There you go. And does he have a top of his head? On top of his head? I think he doesn't. No. And I can even be absolutely certain that by going into the button. No.
Whoa.
Yo, wow.
Alright. I think we're done with this stage. Is there anything you wanted to see in this stage before we leave it? Oh, you got a question. What's up?
So, you know how the characters can like go off screen? Aren't there low poly versions of the characters?
Yes, sir, there is. You want to see it?
Yes. Yeah.
Alright.
No.
What's that? No contest. Parade? No, unfortunately it doesn't. That'd be amazing.
Giant cube.
Let's see. I don't know if I have a complete save file here. That would make it really, really easy. Oh, it's you. Yes. That's gonna make it so crazy. Alright. Zelda? Wow, this is pretty synonymous. First, I gotta beat Luigi yet again. That's right. Thank you. I'm a pro player. That's my old one. Yeah. You guys are great. Alright, so this is why this makes it super easy. If you go off screen in All-Star mode, there's no threat, there's no percentage building up, and you're not going to die. And so, as a result, we take all the time we need, take the camera nice and slowly up to the off-screen model, which now you can see is the little pump. Wow.
guys like. Spoilers. What's going on with her legs?
Yeah, unfortunately, without having the code, which I forgot to implement before coming to the panel, we can't look at it from all angles. But there are codes out there where you can just play as the low poly models. So while we take a look at one more, I'll pick it this time. But thank you for the suggestion. That was cool. See, now when it comes to this, characters with the most detail are the ones that look the worst.
Oh no! Oh no! This game looks so bad.
He actually does have a low poly model. It's really funny. Water beats fire types. There we go. Really quick, just want to show you guys how beautiful this model is. Back in the old days,
Before it gets destroyed.
before there was a homogenized version of Bowser. It's good.
Before it.
I like it.
Walmart Bowser.
We're excited to see his action.
All right.
No, his feet are unlocked. This is Walmart Bowser.
Oh my god.
So, sorry, I got mesmerized by my own little poly model. He looks like a cat. So here's a couple of things to notice here. He's not fully modeled. If you can see there, the shell isn't quite connected to the skin, so you can actually see through to the green screen behind him. Also, his bracelets are like a separate 3D model, so it doesn't connect to his skin, which is very surprising. Instead, it's kind of like very loosely wrapped around his arms, like he lost some weight or something. And also, his spikes are 2D textures, which is really cool. And yeah, I love him. I love his stupid square feet and his flat top. So that's my favorite one. Do we want to look at one more, or do we want to move on to like stages? Donkey Kong? All right.
Oh, that's gonna look weird. Walmart Bowser.
Seth Rogen. Oh.
Why is he even in the Mario movie?
I promised myself I wasn't going to do Seth Rogen impressions for Mario channel, so I promise. Let's look at the menu. You know, in case you didn't notice, the word Smash Brothers pops up in a lot of places. It's actually probably, I think I counted it out, I think it's 12 different places. Thank you. Thank you, staff member. What's up, bud? What was that?
The stage clear section.
What about it?
Stage clear.
You want me to say stage clear? Is that what you're
No, look at the stage clear. Check the stage, look at the areas.
Oh! Oh, yeah. Thank you for the question. I don't know why that was so hard for me to figure out. I was like, stage clear? What? Yeah, I can do that for you. Thank you for the question, by the way. All right. DK? Okay. Oh, how about we look at ONEM real quick? Awesome. So, here we go. Sakurai just made a tweet about ONET and did a zoom out shot of the stage. Sakurai, if you're listening. I don't think he's in the crowd, but he is.
If he was, man.
Call me. Let's collab, bro. So, what's that? Yes, okay, sure. So, a weird little Easter egg that the developers put in for themselves, because you can't see this with a normal camera. is this potted plant over here. For whatever reason, you take the camera inside of this potted plant. Anytime you load this stage, there will be a rice ball. Yeah, Pokemon fans might recognize it as a jelly donut. We've come a long way since then.
Nothing beats a jelly donut.
Oh,
Are the backs of the houses?
Oh, can we see the sign?
Got the caution sign. Yes, it says a black van driven by this guy has been spotted racing. What does that say? Recklessly through town. Be careful. And it's one of the members of the Runaway Five. If you're a fan of Earthbound.
Are the backs of the houses textures?
What's that?
The back of the houses.
Ah, yes. So to save on resources, because this is a larger stage in an older game, you're gonna find that the back of the houses do not have any model. It's a smart move. Yeah.
How do you?
You know, this is actually canon. If anybody's played Earthbound, there's a house you can buy that looks just like that. So, yeah.
How do you feel about Sakurai doing a boundary breaking the implementation sometimes?
Yes, I'm very flattered by that. I think to myself, like, that's so cool. First of all, if he's taking the time to show people stuff out of bounds, that means he's leaving stuff out of bounds. So it gives me something to talk about when I cover it on the show. Not everybody sees a Smash Direct, so it kind of works out for me in my favor and gives me hope that when I cover his games in the future, which I have at this point, it's good. It means that there's content being left behind for a show like mine. So it's awesome to see. I deeply wish that he's secretly watching the show and is a fan, but we'll never know. But yeah, thank you for the question. Did someone else have a question? I thought I saw a hand raised.
I was just gonna ask about what's like at the very back, but you're going there, so.
I'm reading your mind all night. Look at this. Stage you wanted, the area you wanted, and there's the meteorite.
That's actually pretty detailed.
Yeah.
No buzz.
No both.
Cade. All right.
Is that keep the model?
No, it's just like it's flat.
Oh.
Wow, look at
Yeah.
They really made that look like a model. They lied to us. How could they?
All right. There's a zoom out. One last thing I just want to show you to the fans of Earthbound. There's what are these things called? I'm so bad. What are these things called?
Excavator.
Excavator, thank you. That's the excavator that was actually used in Earthbound. It's the guy that gives you the diamond. So anyways, zoom out of that. And let's now show you low poly document. Oh, hey, what's up?
Do you use like a melee mod or like built-in cheat code? How do you do this?
I try not to talk about it because I don't want any. First of all, I don't want to get in trouble. One, but two, for the sake of the game developers and promoting game sales and stuff like that, I try not to talk about it too openly. But since it's a small crowd, what am I saying? This is a great crowd. You all have to keep a secret tonight, okay? I'm using Dolphin, and yeah, there's a baked-in camera. So yeah, that's how I'm doing it tonight. Thank you for the question, but I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so let's do it. Low poly donkey Kong. Woo! Forgot that that's how. Oh yes, stage clear. There you go.
Oh, what?
What? There's something up there. What's that?
That's cool.
Oh, what's that? No, it's something. Oh, it's coins. Oh, it just kind of goes off center or something. There it is. It's got like a different layer of its own. That's what it is. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna quickly zoom it all the way out just to make sure. And no, we're good. Okay. Thank you for the suggestion. It just casts over the entire screen, so you know, no matter how far you go, it's just gonna show you that. Oh, we got some standards. Wow, we got a good crowd tonight. Like seriously, I'm so glad to see so many people turn up. Shout out to the people in the back. Woo! Keep it coming. All right. Let's get to time over here. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I haven't really decided which one's better, actually. That ear's looking really good. I wonder if I can pause it. Hold on. No, I can't. But I can slow it down. That's what I can.
Luigi's Mansion, is that you?
I totally stole that from Monkey Ball. I just found out. Oh yeah, go for it.
That's scary.
We're out of the woods, folks. Oh yeah, you want to see the All-Star rest area in different angles and stuff?
Yeah.
It's actually massive. So really quick, if you're not familiar with the game, if I just pause. Okay, donkey, it's fine. This is the amount of space you can actually look around. It's very restricted here for some reason, and I don't know why. Because honestly, you know, zooming the camera out will show you that it's got a lot to work with. A lot.
Windows XP.
I got that comment on my YouTube video too. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It's got weird patterns over here too.
Whoa. It's like a face, kind of.
So those triangles are just, it's angled land.
That's where Luigi got his.
You know, I went to one of the booths earlier and I saw a green Mario sticker, not Luigi, green Mario. And I almost picked it up and put it on the laptop. I might have to go back and grab it. For tomorrow though, right? Hope. Fingers crossed. Alright, so here's the, get this thing, I paused, so here's the there's like a little park bench and a fountain. The fountain does animate. And we got a lamppost up here. And the lamp bulbs are really 3D model circles. It's kind of cool. You know, I don't know why they went for that trouble. They could have just made it a flat texture, but I assure you, it's a giant circle. And yeah, that's the rest area. Again, I'm very surprised at the amount of detail here. So clearly, for whatever reason, they don't allow you to do this, but if you were to tilt the camera a little bit more to the left or right, it would just fine. Anyways, let's move on to the next stage, shall we? Let's do it. What stage do we want to look at?
Can we look at the trophy dispenser?
Trophy dispenser? We can do that, yeah, really quick. So this is the trophy dispenser. Normally you can get like about that much of a look at it. Some people don't even realize you can move the camera at this time, but there's a lot to it. More importantly, well, first I want to show you this thing. One of the weirdest things is that there's like a little hole up here, which I was surprised by that. And then all the balls inside are also fully molded. Let me just straighten up the camera a little bit. It's got its own little logo too. It's cool. It's not fully modeled though. As you can see, there's some details missing in the back. But the coolest thing is that the camera up, there's this like pattern here. And it has unique patterns that are really difficult to see. But you're seeing it from an eagle's eye view and show you all the different details. And it's lovely. To save on time, I can speed the game up a little bit. Here we go. That was taboo before Brawl. Alright. Alright. There's also the collection too.
Whoa. Consoles.
Lots and lots of consoles. Oh yeah. what? All you have to do is just change to the Japanese language, and then for whatever reason it's in that one. I think they thought that they did in the US. That's how successful the Virtual Boy was. But yeah, we got NES, and if you look closely at the buttons, I didn't mention this in the episode, they both just say system backwards. Which is great. What else we got?
Game Boy.
What's that? They forgot the TM? Oh yeah! The TM's there too. So it's MT. There's also a guide here that's still in Japanese. They knew that we wouldn't be able to see it, but if you look very closely, you can see that it's all the original 64 characters. So we got, let's see here. We got Pikachu, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Kirby, Luigi. What are you? I have no idea. What do you think? I have no idea.
Oh, I think it's now.
Yes? Oh, okay. Yeah, good guess. Mario looks like Link or Shield. Link. Captain Falcon. Okay, we're done. But it's a cipher code. So it also says HAL Laboratory on the television. There's also a very lovely cactus in the back here. You'll see that the cactus is also, sadly, not fully modeled. But you know what the cactus itself is, so that's kind of a big win. What's that? Yeah, and we got also an old N64 cartridge of Super Smash Brothers on the N64. And the controller for the N64 is it's a 2D model. It's flat. All right. What do we got for time? They're actually 2D models. You want to check it out real quick? Not mine. It's a little harder with the laptop. So, as you can see, there are a whole bunch of low-res images, and then when you turn outside, you can see that not even the bases are 3D model, or fully 3D model. They also chipped away at some of it to save the resources as well. It's awesome. All right. Go back to versus mode. And, all right, guys, who are we picking? Link.
Mewtwo. Mewtwo.
Someone just say Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Alright, what stage? Alright.
You already did Pokemon.
Blue. Let's do that. Such a good song. Alright. So, with Big Blue, it's so massive, and this is, by the way, not the case for every stage. There's some that are probably bigger than you think they'd be, but for Big Blue, it's so massive that they have to load it in chunks, as you can see here. So it starts to load out things and load in things in order to make the stage work. But let's see how much of the ocean there is before things start to go on repeat. It's pretty big. It's so big that I can't even get it all into one shot. I'd have to mess with the field of view to get it all in there. There you go. And then you just saw how it works. So at a certain point, the ocean just kind of warps. There you go. Like from where it was to where it starts. So there's that. But even better than that, yeah, moving. So if you got here, you take inside the dome, show you some cityscapes. So again, mess with the field of view so we can actually see it. Here you go. So it's pretty cool, yes, it's a 2D texture, but still it's a detail that would be very difficult to see, and it's surprising that they worked it in, because what I would expect is what you'll actually see in the back, which is that it's the same idea, but it's all just a 2D texture. And then it's the same for as you go further and further back. Now, taking a look at 2 character models that you guys selected.
Well, look inside the cars.
Look inside the cars. All right, we can do that real quick. Slow it down. Slow it down. See, as you can see, there's nothing to really see inside the cars themselves, sadly. But let's see if there's anything going on with Link. Spoilers.
Get those close-ups.
Is that Zelda?
Yeah, it needs to brush his teeth a little bit more. I'm pretty sure he does. Let's find out. There it
Yo, make this your thumbnail.
Beautiful.
This is all you.
All right.
That's a thumbnail.
But
Oh, it was the analog stick. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's take a leather. Just one more look inside real quick. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Look inside this boot. Nothing. All right, what else we got?
Is there a slot on top of his sword scabbard?
A slot on top of
We're
the
going to put a sword in, or is
Slot
it
for
solid?
sword. Oh, I believe it's a 2D texture. We're gonna find out though.
Hey, look, there's too many.
Yeah, it's a texture. Yeah, it's just a texture. Taking the camera inside will show you that it's not mono on the inside. Said, but who's our early character? Where's our early Mark, right? Where is he?
You look at the magic sword?
Sure.
Yeah, when he looks, but he puts the sword away.
So, I'm not sure if we'll find anything interesting here, but I'm going to take a look inside.
Why is it so tiny?
When I was covering the episode, though, the actual mount for the sword, the stone, it had, the way they made the Triforce was they did indentation of a triangle, and then they put a smaller triangle on the inside of it, and just kind of shoved a giant block in there. You can see remnants of just like this huge depth of a small triangle. Just shoved inside the mantle to make that work. It's just kind of interesting because, again, this game was made on a very short time frame. So things that they could do to shave time down is kind of fun and not the most optimal, but it gets the job done.
Are there the arrows and boomerang on the map?
Arrows and boomerang on the map? No, sadly. And you know, I would hope that they would be like stored inside this model or something, but that's not the case either. But no, I've never found anything like that on the outside of the map, typically. And I guarantee it too. They're probably inside the model somewhere, but when it's not used, they just clicked or called out. All right, so Marv time. Where's he at?
Oh no.
Oh.
He's pulling a Sephiroth.
Straight out. Fire Emblem guy.
Alright. So, again, I'm not sure we'll find anything, but one thing I will say about Marathon is he's got really great textures on his entire character model. It's really fascinating how ornate his outfit is. Like, if you look at it up close, just any given thing, like the outline, the yellow outline here even has its own special pattern. And then on the inside of it, there's a special pattern. If you don't take the time to look at it, you might miss it. There's also even like a person on his sheet,
Oh
which is
yeah.
really cool. Yeah, like a lot of these details are kind of stripped away in later versions, like Smash Ultimate and stuff like that. If you look at the character model up close, there's not even nearly as much detail in the textures as there was before. Yeah, very beautiful model. Moving on though. All right. Let me try to pick something for you so we can look at something a little exciting here. Oh, I will let you guys pick one character for me.
Falcon! Falcon!
Game and Watch.
Falcon!
Game and Watch. Game and Watch. Game and Watch.
We got Game and Watch.
Falcon!
Let me
It should be. Over here, over here.
Peach. Pass one. Let's do struggle with that. Alright. And for the stage. Alright. This one's pretty good. We'll do this one. So to start with the stage, take the camera inside of, just off the top. There's an unused area for the stage. As you can see here, there's like a drainage system. It's never used, even when it's transitioning to another stage, you don't see this at all. Which is really cool. And you know what's cooler than that is that there was a beta version of this as well. If you look at the trophy, which is supposed to just be the model of the stage, you go inside and everything's purple. There's also not a grading system for the centerpiece. There is for these parts, but not the center. So you get to see like a beta element version. Make the camera up and above though. Zoom the camera out for you. Yeah, it's pretty massive. There is more 2D cityscapes. There's also a little bit of 3D stuff. And there's also one building that's unique from all the others for some reason. Someone said that they believe this is Tokyo Tower. You can take a look at it for yourself and you can decide. But more really quick before we look at it, there's a building over here that says Pocket. It almost looks like, yeah. It says Pocket over there too, but it almost looked like Diglett to me. I don't know why they did giant Diglett there, but yes, Pocket Monsters, as it's called in Japan. So then, here's the tower I was telling you guys about. Yeah. And then, let's see if there's anything on the back. No, I didn't think so. All right. The crowd, sure. It's all It's all Dippin' Dots, huh? I was thinking like 4-month-old Fruity Pebbles, but. Alright. Let's take a look at some of the characters here. What's up?
Can you like check like the screen with the match, the scoreboard? Yeah.
The scoreboard? Just take the camera up to it?
Is there anything going on with it?
Sure, we can take a look.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It's really great, you're right. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything going on with it. Showing the fight itself? Okay, we can wait for that. Sure. Okay, but really quick.
Your soul is mine.
So there's Popo's mouth. Popo has no teeth. There's Nana. She has a tongue, so that's good. Popo has a tongue? Oh, he does. Okay. Makes sense. Alright. And it doesn't look like there's much of that. Oh, okay. So it's like the top of, or the bottom of his head. I see now. So like, there's this little thing that goes over his coat for his hood. And then it all joins to a center point. It's kind of cool. I find that interesting. But, got game election.
How did it get hit?
What's that?
They make like a 3D model that like his like weight is like set to like 1 or something.
You're absolutely correct. So basically, in any given match, it's going to look 2D. But in truth, he's a 3D model that's just kind of squished down to look like that. And although I won't be able to demonstrate it tonight because it would probably take a little bit of time, because I'd have to slow everything down and I might miss it, have to redo it. He is 3D when it's, you know, Mr. Game & Watch versus character in the first player modes, like classic mode and stuff like that. So it is really interesting. And like I said, he also has a low poly model as well. I don't know why they would go for the trouble, but his feet and hands become blocks, basically. It's really funny. All right, so we looked at that, and how are we doing on time? Does anybody have any questions, by the way? What's up? Into the back room? Oh no, they actually are fully 3D modeled. Yeah, I think to save on resources, that's why the projection is supposed to be like, yeah, low poly, because it exists in the same plane as a fully modeled version. Blue shirt? No, he's a little bit different. Yeah, he still has a little bit of his polygons kind of shortened down and simplified. Believe it or not. Again, I'm surprised by it too. Oh, what's up?
Does the 3D model become any different when he's metal, do you know?
Jeez. I don't think so. I don't think it becomes different. It's just like a different texture that's added to the model. Yeah. Is there a question in the back? Did I miss that? No? Okay. So, let's move on. How much time do we have left here? We got 20. Oh, that's right. We have to check out the scoreboard too and get the projection going. So let's do that real quick. Oh, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like me moving the camera's not going to do anything to it. There was this time when I did Mario Kart Double Dash. We looked at Waluigi Stadium. And as I was moving the camera, oh, well, there's one thing. There's a filter that's passed over it, and as I move the camera around, you can kind of see it. See it? How it just disappeared? Yeah, by pulling it back, it's moving all that texture behind the projection. So you can kind of see it there. That's neat. But yeah, with the Waluigi Stadium, it was awesome because as I was moving the camera around, it was also projecting that on the screen. We had an Inception where we just moved the camera into the screen, and it was weird. All right. No contest.
Got people coming up.
All right, guys. Who do we want? We got Falcon. What's up?
You too. You too. You too.
And what stage?
Final destination.
FD.
FD.
Flat zone?
Flat zone, actually. Yeah.
North side? All right. Can we get some cheers? What's more interesting? All right, I'm gonna do better. All right. So really quick, Venom. It seems like a stage that wouldn't be all that interesting, right? Because all it does is it slowly moves through a little tunnel here. Now, unlike Big Blue, this stage, for whatever reason, models the entire thing in one instance. So, and there's a lot more to it than you would think. So I'm gonna pause, so that way it's not a little less disorienting.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I hear people gasping already, trust me, you haven't even seen half of it. Literally. I wish. Okay, so gotta keep zooming out. Keep an eye on the ship. So we already lost the bounding box. So now I have to start using the field of view.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Dragon.
It keeps going, and going.
You it's like Animal Crossing.
To the point where it's almost half a ring. Again, this is all
Halo, Star Fox Edition.
I was shocked when I saw this. So, like I said, it just doesn't stop. It eventually just kind of reloads. So once you get to the end of this loop, it just kind of snaps the stage back to the very back of the ring. Almost, yeah. Basically, once it gets here, it starts at where the other half of the ring begins. So, and like I said, there's no level of detail here. It's all exactly as it's supposed to look, no matter where you are on the stage. So, yeah, it's crazy. Super nuts. This one's my favorite stage. Not my favorite to play, but definitely one of the most interesting ones that I've seen on this game in particular. All right. I got all nervous. I was like, oh, is he going to talk to me? Did I just all right. The ship? No, you know what's funny is that in later games, there's like a cube that they use, and it's just to help with positioning. But there's nothing like that in this game. In fact, I think, does Cornelius show up in Brawl Guys? I don't remember.
It does, yeah.
It does? And I think there's a cube in that version. But yeah, for this one, it's pretty simple. It's what you see is what you get, more or less.
What does the back look like?
Is that the back?
The R-wing.
What's that? I'd love to. One of the things that I saw that was shared on Twitter was that there's a fully modeled body for Andros, and I would love to like go into the game and look at that. You know, personally, I actually like Star Fox Zero. I would rank it like behind Star Fox 64, but above everything else. Personally, yeah. Here, let's look at his teeth. Looks like he has similar teeth to Link. It might be reused, honestly, because it has that weird like cavity thing going on. Not this one. You guys want to see his eyes? Yeah. Yeah? Is that something you'd like to see? Okay. I'm going to unplug this for just 2 seconds so I can boot up Brawl. But before we do that, let's just take one last look at...
Back of the ship.
What's that?
The back of the ship.
Daisy's eye. Yeah, I feel like that one's pretty common knowledge, but would you guys like to see a crazy eye in the back of a trophy's head? Is that... Yeah? Okay, I'll show that really quick. Okay, so there is one model, and it has to be an early version of Melee 2. It can't be any of the revised versions, where there is a Daisy trophy. And when you look at the camera, when you look at the character from the back and with the camera, you'll see something that's not supposed to be there. Now, I actually don't remember which version of Melee I have here, so we're going to find out. If there is no eye, we have a 1.02. If there is an eye, we have the very first version that was released in the US. This is the newer version, sorry guys. But there would be an eye there if it was the very first version of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Surprising, I can't believe Nintendo took the time to be like, okay, we need to put out a new version of this game where there's no eye. Like, it matters to them at the time. Alright, now I'm going to boot up Brawl. Or, okay, really quick. I'll let you guys decide on one thing. Do we look at Brawl for a little bit. I think we have time for both. What do we got? Like 15 minutes left? 10 minutes left? All right. Good idea. Let's speed run. I'm going to show you guys my favorite out of bounds discovery that I've ever made on the show.
Can you tell us the game?
It's Punch Out.
Yeah.
So,
Punch out me?
Punch Out for a week.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
You found Mike Tyson.
Honestly, that would probably get someone in less trouble than what this discovery was. I know the whole backstory of it because when I found it, the developer who got fired reached out to me and told me the whole story.
Wow.
So I didn't get him fired, but for the record, he got fired before the game even came out. And do we have that on screen right now? Is that showing up? It is? Okay. No audio though. Let's figure that out. Whoops. What just happened? Oh, I missed that. Okay. Huh. Where did the audio go? I think I don't have it. Yeah, that's true.
We got the real thing. You got us.
All right, fair enough. So, for Piston Hondo, if you fight him a second time around, there's an in-between round where that's Mr. Sandman. We found him! We found Mike Tyson! No, there it is. So, when you get to an in-between round with Piston Hondo, he's reading a book.
Oh no.
You can't see what's in the book. That's the funny thing. But unfortunately, someone on the team thought it would be great to take manga panels from Sailor Moon and put them on the inside of the book without Bandai's permission.
Oh my god.
So, someone at Nintendo Japan caught wind of this before the game came out and swiftly fired that person. And in the Japanese version, they replaced the image entirely. But if you look here, I can now twist it. That's the best part about the newer versions of Dolphin that we've now established I'm using.
Wait, you're reading it down upside down?
I might be. Yeah, so like these are legitimate, real panels from Sailor Moon. They're just kind of scrambled around. This isn't like a full page rip, but the artist actually took the time to take individual panels from different issues and put them all into a book that Piston Hondo is reading.
Upside down.
Why is he reading it upside down, though?
That might be it. He might have taken too many to the head at that point and just doesn't even know what he's doing anymore. Oh, that's true. He'd be just that smart. Another thing too I'll show you. The characters get battered and bruised as they fight Little Mac. If the character is pristine, like he is here, if you take the camera inside of their heads, you can actually find the battle damage stored inside their head. It's kind of hard to see, but this right here is like messed up hair, messed up eyebrows, and things of that nature. They do that a lot. And there's Steve. Yeah, so that's my favorite discovery that I've ever made on the show. It was not documented anywhere at the time. I was shocked to find that out. And then, honestly, when the guy reached out to me, I didn't even think he was legitimate. I thought he was just trying to get a buck out of me. But then he was like, this is the real deal, and there's ways that I can verify this. I'm this person. You'll see my LinkedIn profile here, and I worked there, and this is what I did. And also, one thing that you never mentioned on your show is that for the Japanese release, they changed the panels entirely. So he was like, go ahead and take a look at that if you can. And I was like, well, all right, let me take a look. And I was shocked to see. Yeah, that Nintendo Japan. They also paid Bandai over $3 million, I believe. Before Bandai even caught wind of it, they were just like, hey, we made a mistake. We're going to have it in the game. We're going to pay you a sum. We're really sorry about that.
Wow.
He told me, so what he told me was that he thought it'd be cute, and then he asked the director, he was like, is it okay if I put this in there? And he was like, yeah, it should be fine. And then he put it in, and then he was like, well, you know what? Let me ask Nintendo of Japan if it's okay which that sealed the deal. They caught wind of it and they were like, "Are you kidding me?" So they weren't happy. They were not happy. Yeah, that's what I think.
I have a question.
What's up?
So in the Japanese version, what exactly did they replace the panels with?
It's just like shapes, I believe. It's like gray triangles and like different shades of gray. Yeah.
The one for Luigi.
Oh, okay. So anyways, so that's my favorite one. I guess now to pad out the rest of the time, we can look at Super Smash Brothers Brawl, if you'd like, or we can do Double Dash if you'd like. Which one do you guys want?
Double dash.
Double Dash? Okay, cool. We'll do Double Dash. All right, I'm gonna unplug it one more time. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's actually an out of bounds piece of content on stage. So let's see if it boots up the sound. If it doesn't, I think I know why. That's so weird. Alright, but you guys can see it okay, right? Yeah. Alright, awesome. Awesome. So, Mario Kart Double Dash. It's classic.
Yo, Chris Pratt. Charlie Day?
Yo, Jack Black. Jack Black.
Unfortunately, there's nothing with the menus. Yeah, it doesn't allow you to do any camera manipulation here. But for time trials, hey, that's a good. All right. All right. I'll show you something that was found at MagFest, and I'll also show you some unused content. So it's Rainbow Road.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to show you is what's inside Baby Mario.
Excuse me?
Mario.
I don't know what you guys are doing.
Baby Mario?
Teeth? No, no teeth this time. He's a baby.
What, does he have a binky or something?
It makes it weird, yeah. He's got dentures or something. No, Baby Mario has his texture sheet stored inside of his leg.
I think Baby Mario is better than
There you go, so you can get a nice good look at that. Yeah, so you can see like the Mario emblem, the eyes, and everything that only has one of means that it's doubled up and stuff like that.
He looks like Bonk.
Looks like what?
Bonk.
Who?
Bonk.
Bonk? Oh yeah, I can kind of see that. So yeah, that's the cool thing that we found at MagFest. And now I'm going to show you some unused content. So in Rainbow Road, first let's zoom it out so you can get a good look at this thing. It's great.
Wow. Yo, Mushroom City.
Yep, it's Mushroom City down below. Yeah, so that's the whole stage right there. Now, here's something that's really cool. In the stage, there is a Koopa shell, there's up a bomb, a mushroom, a Yoshi's egg, you know, stuff like that littered throughout the stage. But for some reason, there's one of these objects that's just not there, and it's not used at all. It's not a duplicate or anything. It's a completely unique model that just simply wasn't used. And outside the boundaries, you'll find it. Just gotta go around. The scenic route, yeah. There it is. See it?
Is that a sun?
It's an unused heart.
Oh.
Wow.
It is.
Whoa. What the hell?
It looks like
It's like a cow.
looks like
Now, I don't know if it's because it's not textured properly. That might be the reason why. It's gotta be, because everything else looks fine, and otherwise it should be in the stage.
A lot of players just went through a breakout, so they were feeling a little hard.
I love the humor of this crowd. So, one of the funny things about this too is that if you take the camera below the stage, you can see a lot of heart texture. I'm sorry, wow, heart's on the mind now. Star textures, which is also kind of nice looking. It's what the roads are supposed to be.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
Oh, now I can show you that Waluigi Stadium thing before I get kicked out. How about that? Yeah. All right. I'll also show you Waluigi's teeth. I know how to police the crowd.
Can we also see his feet?
No!
Come on, man, not now. Hey, man.
He needs trackers.
Please,
Please, I want to have it. He needs to see his feet.
all right. Release the game still. All right, guys. 1 second. We got time. Oh, is it 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, they're gonna let us show you. Shot behind the scenes.
You broke it too much.
There we go. Oh, it's really fast. Super duper fast. Let there be sound.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
And Waluigi Stadium. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, let's go!
Thank you. So let's finish it off right. Square T. All right.
Where's Donkey Kong's teeth?
Donkey Kong's teeth. I don't think he has teeth. He's got a mouth though. There you go. All right. So the last thing. Here's the projector right there. It's supposed to show you the racer. And as you can see, as we move the camera,
Oh no.
What the hell?
It moves with it.
Oh god.
gonna pick up the speed a little bit.
Whoa.
Oh, that's weird.
We're going into the fifth dimension.
This is record.
And it's broken. We broke it. Thank you. You guys are great. Appreciate you. All right. I can't, for autographs and stuff like that, I'll be outside in the hallway. Just safety, a little bit of space. Give me a little bit of space. Don't crowd me too much, but I'm more than happy to do autographs and talk to you guys for a little bit. And again, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you.